Speak to a political analyst, David Osiany, via way of phone, just to tell us, to pick his mind when it comes to that decision by nominated MP Maina Kamanda to join ODM. And Ms. Osiany, thank you so much for talking to us here on KTN News Center. First things first, what does this mean, to the top leadership of Jubilee Party? Because it seems Maina Kamanda is going against, the leadership's decision.
Well, thank you very much, Brenda. I'd like to point out that Maina's dissent and the differentiation from the party essentially points to the fact that the factions within Jubilee are not yet, the problems within Jubilee are not yet sorted. For those of us who have been following the Jubilee campaigns and the problems going on therein, we know that Maina Kamanda, alongside Ngunjiri Wambogo, have easily been the face of the pro-President Uhuru Kenyatta agenda and the Big Four agenda, as the others have been Tanga. And so for Maina Kamanda to outrightly come out and support Imran Okoth in Kibra by-elections essentially just points to the fact that those factions are still, the simmering tensions in Jubilee are going to play out in Kibra. It more or less waters down the action of President Uhuru Kenyatta, because one would perceive that that President Kenyatta's foot soldiers have not followed his command, which may give mixed signal as to whether the president's heart is truly in McDonald Mariga or not.
All right, and we've seen it's not only Maina Kamanda who has decided to support ODM's candidate, that is Imran Okoth, but we've also seen, from that story that has been filed by my colleague Kisa Andera, we've also seen Gatundu, Member of Parliament, Moses Kuria, coming out, openly to say that he will not support Mariga's candidature.
Yeah, the open defiance by the pro-Kieleweke or central MPs to this candidature of Mariga, I think stems from the fact that from the outset, Mariga looked like he was a candidate for the deputy president. Now, that may be or may not be true depending on who is looking at it, but looking at how he has fought his battles with IBC, the people who've been around him are the key figures of the deputy president, Nixon Corrier, Caleb Kositany, and that entire brigade. The lawyers he had are largely reputed as pro the deputy president. And so that's why you see this tension and open defiance to the endorsement by the president. His foot soldiers, the people who are known as his marksmen, are saying, President, on this, we are not with you. And that will play out. It will go a long way in playing out in the by-elections, because they are the same people the president would have sent to go out there and fend for votes for Mariga. Now, in the event that they are not going to do that, then your bet is as good as mine that the endorsement of the president is essentially therefore watered down.
But Osiany, so do you think the president, President Uhuru Kenyatta, being the party leader of Jubilee, should, and his deputy, that is William Ruto, should come out and, put their house in order when it comes, so that when they're going out to campaign for Mariga, they're campaigning as a team so that the party can win the Kibra parliamentary seat?
Essentially, in a party where there is order, that is the best thing to do. You would whip everyone, and they will pick the direction of the party leader. But you see, looking at the instances where the Tanga divide of Jubilee has openly defied the president, it would be almost impossible to have the president rally the whole team in this direction. I think he will let them to their own devices and have them do it their way. I do not think that President Kenyatta will be very keen in the contest in Kibra. Why? Because from the outset, Mariga was not christened as a Jubilee candidate. He was, he was crowned and clothed as a Tanga candidate. Therein lies the problem, and therein lies the basis for which the president may decide to pull back.
Right, and lastly, Mr. Osiany, what is the possibility or the chances of Jubilee Party winning the Kibra, parliamentary seat, now that we're seeing there's a lot of political division?
No, the chances for Jubilee winning that parliamentary seat are truly dismal. The real contest in Kibra is going to be between Owalo and Imran Okoth. And even so, I think Imran Okoth has quite an upper hand because that is an ODM backyard, even if you assess it ethnopolitically. And so Mariga's chances will be a bit dismal. The vote that he would have banked on for a generally ethnic-based or ethnocentric vote, the vote you'd have banked on largely would have been the Kikuyu vote, which is now hampered by the defiance of the people like Maina Kamanda. And so essentially I think it's going to be a game of the deputy president just trying to see how deep he can get into Raila's backyard. But I don't see any credible chances for Mariga winning. What it will do is that it will be a stick for the deputy president to use and see and, and declare that, I can run against Raila in his own backyard.
Right. Thank you so much, David Osiany, a political analyst, trying to, give us his perspective when it comes to that division within the Jubilee party. Allow me to take a short break here on KTN News Center. But when we come back,